Today is Monday, June 8, 2026. Tonight, Dhamma talk, we will conclude what we are given a title, the two conditions for attaining Nibbana. The two conditions for attaining Nibbana. So there are two conditions to attain Nibbana, to reach Nibbana. This topic will conclude tonight. These two conditions are very important for yogis who willing to attain Nibbana, Magga, Phala, Nibbana. So most yogis, they willing to attain Nibbana. So the Buddha taught that if one fulfills these two conditions, the ultimate truth, Nibbana, can be realized at any time. Nibbana can be realized at any time. So whoever willing to attain Nibbana, yogi must fulfill these two conditions. What's two conditions? You already know, right? The first condition is listen to the Dhamma related to the Four Noble Truths, Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, Magga. So yogi must understand these Four Noble Truths from teacher, your teacher. Teacher will give instruction to yogis to understand about the Four Noble Truths, Dukkha, what is Dukkha, what is Samudaya, what is Nirodha, what is Magga. So teacher will guide you. So number one condition is external condition from teacher. You have to listen to the Dhamma related to the Four Noble Truths. Second condition, yogi know, I want to know a yogi, you already know. Yoniso, Manasikara, wise attention, wise proper attention, or positive attitude. So this is second condition. This condition is called internal condition. Internal means within your mind, your own continuum, your body and your mind. Yogi must cultivate it, must cultivate. Yoniso, Manasikara, wise reflection, wise proper reflection, or positive attitude. Because our mind always related to negative, ayoniso manasikara, negative attitude, unwise, improper attention. The mind always connected to unwise, improper attention or negative attitude. Negative attitude means lobha, dosa, moha, kilesa, defilement, always arising in our mind. Sometimes we are craving, arise, attachment, or anger, aversion, delusion, tinamita, drowsiness, laziness, restlessness, and remorse or worry, doubt. These all are negative attitude, negative attitude, or kilesa, defilement. So when yogi's mind overwhelming these mental hindrances, craving, anger, delusion, drowsiness, restlessness, and doubt, so yogi must immediately despair, overcome, turn into yoniso manasikara, wise attention, positive attitude. How you turn into yoniso manasikara? Mindfulness. Mindfully observe Mindfully note, contemplate, which arise negative thoughts such as craving, anger, delusion, drowsiness, restlessness, and doubt. In this way, you must despair, you must overcome, such as ayonisomansikara, unwise revelation or negative thoughts, negative attitude, which overcoming into the mind. So in this way, yogi cultivating your ayonisomansikara, your internal condition. This is very important. In this way, yogi gradually develop your meditation. Your yogi will improve your vipassana insight, knowledge, or step by step or stage by stage. You will progress. Let us review these two conditions briefly, right? Briefly. Number one, the voice of another. Another means the voice of teacher. So this means the Dhamma talk of teacher. This Dhamma, what the teacher given talk, a talk, must be related to the Four Noble Truths. So this is the crucial external condition. Number one is external condition. Teacher must given the Dhamma, talking the Dhamma, the discourse to yogis related the Four Noble Truths. So this is crucial external condition. Crucial external condition. It refers to receiving correct guidance and teachings from a reliable source, such as a qualified teacher or the authentic scripture. So what teacher given Dhamma talk, that Dhamma must be authentic scripture. Authentic scripture means Sutta, Vinaya, Abhidhamma, Tripasaka, right? Everyone knows Sutta, Vinaya, Abhidhamma. This means authentic scripture. In the context of vipassana, it's not just about listening to a sermon. It is about learning the practice, framework for practice. Listening alone, yogis, you have to remember, listening Dhamma talk alone, no accomplish. Listening Dhamma sermon alone, no accomplish. It is about learning the practice, framework for practice, practical or practice. So, what you learn, what you understand, teaching by the teacher, the yogi must apply practically. Practically means you must meditate, you must develop, especially the eight Four Noble Paths. So this is the part what our yogi are developing from early morning to late night. So our noble yogi developing the 8 path factors. So right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right mindfulness, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So these are theoretically we are saying the 8 Four Noble Paths, but practically what our noble yogis are developing every moment, rising, falling, what you are observing, contemplating, practicing, main object as rising. They are involved and participating in these noble paths When you observe rising and falling, there is your effect. So, right effect. There is mindfulness, the right mindfulness. There is right concentration. The concentration, what you are focusing, main object rising, falling. So, you need concentration. This is right concentration. Right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. When you are focusing, so every effort, mindfully focusing the object, so you will see, at least, you will see the nature of rising movement, how the movement, long or short, expansion, or when you observe falling movement, contraction, or fall down, or clear, not clear. These are what yogi understanding experience called samadhi, samasankappa, right view, right thought. What you are experiencing, this is long, this is short, or clear, not clear, movement, step by step movement, or moving down, movement, side by side movement, up and down movement, or how you are observing the whole processing of movement from beginning to end, you perceive clearly. So you know the nature of that movement, rising movement and falling movement. You know the characteristic of that rising movement and falling movement. Knowing nature and knowing characteristics are called basic vipassana knowledge. This knowledge is gradually developed. When this knowledge is developed, yogi will experience universal characteristic, likewise anicca nature or dukkha nature, anatta nature of that object, what our noble yogis contemplating, noting, rising, falling, how changing, how rise, how pass the movement, how rising movement arise and pass, how falling movement arise here, pass here, arising, passing away. This is called three characteristics. Anicca nature, impermanent nature of the body and mind, what you object, what you are observing object, the unsatisfactory nature of dukkha nature of that physical and mental phenomena. So non-self nature of that object, what our meditator observing. So yogi will realize, will perceive this nature slowly or gradually. So that's why these conditions, external condition and internal condition, or listening to Dhamma, the Four Noble Truth, the Dhamma, Four Noble Truth, the Dhamma, and wise reflection, wise proper reflection, or positive attitude, or internal condition. These two external condition and internal condition must apply together, not only condition alone. Yogi cannot attain Nibbana. Yogi must interconnected these two conditions, or listening Dhamma or applying in your own practice, understanding path. So you applying practically meditation. Listening alone cannot attain Nibbana. Practicing alone, likewise, wise attention alone also cannot attain Nibbana. These two conditions require they must move together. External condition, internal condition must move together, must apply together. In this way, our noble yogi will obtain fruition, realization of Nibbana. The teacher explains the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths, not as abstract philosophy or another word, theoretical only, not theoretical only, but as practical guide. So when teacher teach yogis about the Four Noble Truth, theoretically teaching is not accomplished, not enough guidance. Theoretically means dukkha satya, samudaya satya, nirodha satya, magga satya. Dukkha means the suffering, the noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of reason of suffering, the cause of suffering, the noble truth of cessation, the noble truth of the path to leading to suffering. So these all are just theoretically abstract philosophy. So this teaching not enough, just theoretically, but as a practical guide. So teacher teach what to observe, the truth of suffering. So teacher, you said dukkha, suffering. How we do observe, practice, note dukkha. The yogi, you can raise question to teacher if you not clear. So the truth of suffering, the dukkha. So dukkha means the mind and body process. The mind and body process. Dukkha means our life, the processing of our life. The processing of the life means mind and matter, physical phenomena and mental phenomena. This is two mind and matter and processing. It's called life. So what the Buddha said, the life, this is dukkha. Path Noble Truth. When we practice meditation, we have to practice only two Noble Truth only, not four. Number one and number two, Path Noble Truth, what the Buddha taught. The Path Noble Truth, dukkha, suffering, our existence, our life. So this aggregate, this mind, body, Path Noble Truth, you must fully understand what the Buddha said. That's why you are noting rising, falling, sitting, touching, or bending, stretching, sitting down, standing up, right, left, lifting, dropping. So you are observing the aggregate, the dukkha, the life, the physical and mental form, phenomena. So this is why our noble yogis are observing dukkha, mind, matter. But we don't know dukkha. Also we say dukkha, but what is dukkha? We don't know. Actually, we don't know the dukkha. Dukkha is we don't need to look in for outside, within our body, our life. Life is dukkha, what the Buddha said. So the life is suffering. We people normally say life is dukkha, life is suffering, life is suffering. This is what we are talking about dukkha, Path Noble Truth. What we have to observe, what we have to note, observe, contemplate. So which arise every moment, which arise physical and mental phenomena, every moment, rising or falling or seeing or hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. So every movement, what we make action. So we mindfully observe. So this why we are observing. So what the Buddha said, the Path Noble Truth, dukkha, suffering must fully understood. To understand. We don't understand ourselves. That's why we think this is I am, this is mine, this is my ego, this is you, he, the person, man, woman. These are just concept, conventional concept. These concepts are not reality. But ultimate reality is mind and matter, physical and mental phenomena alone. So because we using these proper name, likewise, label name, you, she, he, I, that man, that woman, that person. So we when someone walk in, we said, this man walk in. So we cannot say Nama and Rupa walk in. We cannot say like this, because Nama Rupa is ultimate reality. This man is a conventional concept, because the whole life, from since childhood until today, we are using this concept, this name, this man, woman, I, you, she, he, like that, the person like that. That's why the man coming, or he is walking, or we use, this is conventional concept. This is correct as conventional concept, not correct as ultimate reality. Ultimate reality is the mind body, that man also, that person who walking also, form with physical mental phenomena, do form only. But we cannot say, oh, Nama and Rupa and Nama walking, we cannot say like this, we cannot address like this. But we must know the physical, every existence, every human being's existence, life is only mind and matter. What we have to know. So this knowing, not theoretically. That knowing, understanding must apply practically through practice. While you are observing, or sitting meditation, walking meditation, or daily mindfulness meditation, so you understand clearly or object and note the mind and matter, you perceive clearly. This is what our noble yogis are understanding dukkha, clearly perceiving dukkha. Because the Buddha said, First Noble Truth, dukkha, suffering, must fully understood. Second Noble Truth, samudaya, craving, attachment, must abandon, overcome, must eradicate, must eliminate, must eliminate. Second Noble Truth, samudaya, craving, must eliminate. So we meditating only to do our body and mind, our physical and mental phenomena. What clinging that physical and mental phenomena? This is second Noble Truth. Samudaya, craving, attachment. We clinging too much ourselves. So this one must be eradicated, must be eliminated, overcome. So that's why the Buddha said, second Noble Truth, samudaya, craving, must overcome, abandon, eradicate, must eradicate, eliminate. So if we do these two tasks, first Noble Truth must fully understood. Second Noble Truth, craving, must abandon, overcome or eradicate, eliminate. So only two tasks. What we have to do is, when what yogis, our meditators, making effort the whole day, your task only two, these two, first Noble Truth and second Noble Truth. Because third Noble Truth is cessation, nirodha, cessation. This is a result. When you overcome or abandon, eliminated craving, so this is called nibbana. So you already cease craving. So cessation, craving, this is called you overcome as a dukkha, suffering. This is nirodha means our result. So the Four Noble Truth, magga, means what our yogis are developing all every moment. Just now I mentioned right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Three, sila, maganga, sila path, likewise, right speech, right action, right livelihood, already accomplished when you are observing precept. So you have to develop only five. These five are right effort, viriya, effort, right mindfulness, sati, right concentration, samadhi, and right view, samadhi, panya. Right thought also, samasangapa, panya, also wisdom. There are two wisdom group and three concentration group. What we are developing, cultivating these 5 path factors. If you develop in these 5 path factors, so you are understanding and first noble truth, what the Buddha said. The first noble truth, dukkha, must fully understood. The second noble truth, samudaya, craving, must abandon, overcome, eradicate, eliminate. Only two tasks, 2 jobs. So, I think most of yogi clear about that. Yeah, Yoniso Manasikara. Wise. Attention, proper attention, positive attitude. Buddha said, every meritorious deed, every wholesome deed, good deeds are called Yoniso Manasikara. So this Yoniso Manasikara, very wide. Every good deed, wholesome deed, meritorious deeds are called Yoniso Manasikara, wise attention, proper attention, or wise positive attitude. So we are cultivating Yoniso Manasikara by doing such as meritorious deeds, good deeds, wholesome deeds, practice meditation, so on. So just observe, contemplate, whichever arises that moment, objects, as it arises, to see the nature, the characteristics of that object. So this is what the Buddha thought, deeper Yoniso Manasikara. Actually, the really aspect of Yoniso Manasikara means what our yogis are perceiving anicca nature, dukkha nature, anatta nature are called Yoniso Manasikara. This is the direct aspect of Yoniso Manasikara. When you see the changing of the objects as impermanent nature, just right, just past, or changing all time. So what you are cultivating Yoniso Manasikara. So the object what yogi is observing is just arise, pass away, arise, pass, arising, passing, or sometimes, or some yogi who experience the higher vipassana inside knowledge. So such a yogi, they don't see the objects or what, which object, what yogi observing objects. Normally yogi experience arise, pass, or disappear. For such a yogi who experience Bhanga Jnana and the higher vipassana inside knowledges. So the yogi, even they don't see appearing or arising, instead just passing away, disappearing. Appearing they may not see, because they are missing. They are most of body partially or the whole body sometimes already missing some yogi. So that's why they experience only disappearing, dissolution, disappearing. This is what yogi understanding Yoniso Manasikara, or cultivating Yoniso Manasikara. What yogi understanding anatta nature. What yogi is understanding nibbana, cessation. What yogi experiencing ending, stopping, emptiness, nothingness. Because disappearing all time. What yogi is experiencing equanimity. Equanimity means disappearing. Whatever yogi observe the object, immediately disappear. This is called balancing or equanimity or cessation or anatta nature or ending, stopping, emptiness, nothingness. So they are different vocabulary, but they're very similar. What yogi experience in that moment, this is nibbana, what you are experiencing. So this is not permanent nibbana. This is just temporary, momentary nibbana, cessation, disappearing, momentary. So this momentary nibbana, cessation, ending, stopping, equanimity, you still require to reach certain mature state, mature level. Only after reaching mature level, yogi will enter sitting entara Noble Sotapanna who. After attainment of Noble Sotapanna who, what yogi experience such as cessation or ending, disappearing, equanimity or balancing, these are permanent nibbana, permanent insight, knowledge. So you have to distinguish like this. So some yogi, they already experience cessation, physical cessation, mental cessation. They think I already at the nibbana, I already become Noble Sotapanna. They immediately address themselves, not like that. So not only that Bhanga Jnana, Bhaya Jnana, cessation or disappearing or equanimity level, so require mature level. Every vipassana insight from Namarupa, number 1 vipassana insight, until number 11 vipassana insight, yogi need to repeatedly polishing to reach a mature level. What you are understanding Namarupa Prasira Jnana, distinguish between mind and matter. What you are understanding, experiencing the knowledge of discerning, causing, condition, cause and effect, or what you are understanding, experiencing anicca nature, dukkha nature, anatta nature. Every individual inside knowledge require to reach mature level. So 11 stages we need mature level, each not only Sangarupaka level, from beginning to end. So you must polishing. Also you understand, you make effort, more effort. Contemplate again and again that knowledge, that insight. So in this way, that knowledge, that insight, gradually prominent, powerful. When this knowledge become powerful, you will reach mature level. So that from that level to another second level, step by step. So level by level, you will experience this cessation or disappearing or equanimity or ending, stopping, emptiness, nothingness. So the nature of enlightenment you will understand, you will perceive. So regarding these Yoniso Manasikara, I plan to talk our Noble Yogi one story. You may willing to listen that story, right? We will address briefly.